Speaking of Wrath, guys, here is a video by Willy that is 7 more Wrath changes you forgot about. Wrath is the game that I played the most, okay? Like, that is the game I played the most, but I played it back in the day. I haven't played any Wrath private servers, so my knowledge and like my view on the game is like from back in the day, right? So there's probably like a lot of things I don't remember, or like things that I see differently because it's like from memory, right? But let's see the video here. I don't know when Wrath is gonna come out, guys. A lot of people are speculating late this year, like November or December. I probably think it's gonna come out in November, December, or early in next year, right? So we'll see. But let's look at this video by Willy, guys.
About the changes that will happen with Wrath, and
so you think it's gonna come out in September? You think Wrath will come out in September, guys? That is very soon. That is literally in 5 months.
you guys seem to like them, and honestly there are still so many more noteworthy ones to go over that I thought I'd do another video on the topic. I went for a bit of a range of different subjects today, from ones you're pretty much going to know to some which might be a bit obscure, so hopefully you learn something new, or at least remember something from the past. Let's make a start then. The first thing I want to talk about is that some damage over time effects and some heal over time effects finally get scaling. This has been a consistent problem through Classic and TBC. If your class relies on dots, they just don't scale well. In Wrath the Lich King, quite a bit changes with how stats interact with spells, so not only will your rotation get more advanced, but there are now more things to track during combat to make a difference.
That is cool for like any dot players. That is actually really cool. I personally was never a big fan of playing dot stuff. But that's cool. I mean, that's cool. The more flavor and the more variety for those people, that's good, right?
Classes will have dots that can crit now, such as Shadow Priest or Affliction Lock. Also, haste will have an effect on some dots as well, meaning you need to track your haste breakpoints on top of your hit cap. Haste breakpoints will essentially add another tick of a spell on its normal duration, so it's a real game changer. In Wrath the Lich King, originally this was a change added in patch 3.3 to help scaling of dot-reliant classes. So whilst we have that going for us, unfortunately we don't have Pandemic. What is Pandemic, you may ask? Well, we kind of actually do. It is a thing in Wrath of the Lich King. It's a Warlock talent, but it was reworked in Mists of Pandaria to now do the following. When refreshing your periodic damage effects, duration remaining on the previous effect is added to the new one, up to a maximum of 50% of the base duration. This effect
so that's like a dude, that's like a noob buffer. So like if you overlap it, then it's like not that bad. Yeah, so you can snapshot it. Okay, so you skip the downtime. That's pretty OP. That's pretty OP.
Effect would then be toned down and baked into all periodic effects later on. But for Wrath of the Lich King at the moment, your dots are ticking faster, they can crit, but you need to make sure you
That's more fun for the dot enemies
when you're refreshing. All in all, it should be a much more interesting playstyle. Remember in Classic and TBC, when you get a new item and you want to use it, but it's not enchanted, so it's not an upgrade yet, you realize you forget the materials, you have to head over to the auction house, you have to buy the mats, find an enchanter, hope they don't have an accidental disconnect after you trade them the mats, and then work out how much you should tip them. Not a thing anymore in Wrath. As part of a new profession, inscription, an item can be made called an enchanting vellum. Think of these as like blank sheets of paper that enchanters can store and enchant on, and then you can post them directly on the auction house, meaning both you can just go to the
I don't remember this
auction house now instead of finding somebody.
Was this in Wrath? Oh my gosh, I don't remember this. As I said, guys, my memory is very skewed. Like, it's very, like, vague, because, like, I was... What was I? I think I was 12, by the way. Yeah, I think I was probably 12 back in Wrath, right? So, I don't remember that very well. Yeah, I think so. That's cool, though. This is cool, because, like... Let's say I'm gonna do like, oh guys, let's do a ICC run, right? And then like the run where I get Shadowmourne, where like we all get super hyped for me getting Shadowmourne and stuff like that. I just bring my enchant with me so I can enchant my Shadowmourne immediately, right? So yeah.
Needs to enchant your new gear, or if you know you're next in line for an item, you just have the enchant in your bag ready to go to apply as soon as you get
I'm from 95.
Speaking of enchanting, it also now provides a party-wide benefit when in a group.
Yeah, you can do this. I remember this.
This is in from launch, that is. Originally, this wasn't included until patch 3.3, right at the end of the game. Perhaps it should be later, because this change will affect the economy. But with an
this is so annoying, man. Like right now, if you want to disenchant stuff, you're like, Oh, okay. Let's make sure we give it to the enchanter and disenchant it and roll it off. It's like, oh, you just click the button and it's easy clap, right? So that's good. Yes, this is cool. I like this.
When an item drops, there will now be a choice to disenchant it instead of just need or greed, meaning whoever wins gets the mats that would have dropped directly into their inventory instead of it just being a vendor spec item. And with how popular dungeon farming has been for leveling so far in Classic and TBC, this is going to make a big difference to the amount of enchanting materials entering the market early on. Here's a little change people might like, and one I think you'll have probably heard of:
dual spec. Oh, dual spec. That is one of the things. Maybe some people will disagree with me on this. I really wish we had dual spec in Classic. Dude, dual spec is like, oh, it's so nice, man. It's just nice, dude. You want to do some PvP? Oh, just do your other spec. Oh, you want to do some PvE? Spec back to the other spec. It's fair enough having people pay like a good sum for it, like 1k or 2k. But like, you got it, and it's fine. It's just convenient, you know? And I know what you're gonna say, like, one thing leads to another, and like, that's how we got to where we are now in retail. But yeah, but dual spec is nice, though.
Spec. It feels like such a no-brainer to mention that I nearly forgot to include it. It was introduced in patch 3.1, which is Ulduar. This new feature allows players to have 2 separate talent layouts. It
does go against the RP element. Yeah, but like, I feel like right now, like myself included, a lot of people are probably not very like motivated to do PvP, or if they're PvPing, they're not very motivated to do PvE, because like, oh, I gotta respec back, and like after I've done my PvP, I have to respec back to my main spec, and it's like you have to go back and forth, right? So it's like, it's just sort of like annoying, because like it's like not fun to do, right? But yeah. That's how I see. Like for me personally, it's like, yeah, I would like to do some more PvP. I would like to do some BGs and stuff, but it's like, oh, I gotta respec to arms, and I gotta respec back to Fury afterwards, and then like back and forth, right? So it's good, right? And pay 100 gold. Yeah, exactly. And pay the gold as well. It's like 100 gold for both the ways, right?
Freely swap between. Well, I say freely because you have to be at least level 40, and it was a one-time cost of 1,000 gold to unlock this feature.
Was nice.
Do you usually DPS for raid but want to queue tank for dungeons because it's much faster to find a group? Frost Mage for PvP, Fire for PvE, and just...
There's no RP element in Classic? Yeah, I mean, I think people just play games differently nowadays, man.
So many more examples, and it makes more sense in Wrath of the Lich King to have dual spec than it did in prior expansions as well. The new addition of Glyphs to the game made changing spec whilst maintaining a class that actually plays the way you want it to another hurdle to get over. Some classes have a
Glyphs! Oh my gosh! I remember this too, yeah. Wasn't there like a glyph warrior where like you got, when you thunderclapped, it was like a, like there was like a thunderstorm? I think there was, right? Because I remember being really excited about that. It was like, oh, dude, I got like a thunderstorm when I thunderclap. Right? Maybe that's going to finally make warriors want to put those on, right? On the boss. But glyphs are cool. I think glyphs are a cool way of like adding like a little bit of personality to your own spec. And like, yeah, obviously there's going to be a cookie cutter like way to do it. But this is, in terms of borrowed power, this is probably one of the better ways they do it, right? I think, man, because like this is pretty cool, I think, in my opinion.
Different glyphs set up for PvP and PvE. Can you imagine having to carry around stacks of glyphs in your bags for when you want to do arena or raid? Perhaps that was the original intent from Blizzard with the new profession, because at the moment glyphs are sort of a one-time buy and that's it. Nevertheless, that's the way things are. Either way, since dual spec can be done at any class trainer in Wrath, I fully expect this feature to be made available during the pre-patch period,
I hope
so you can finally set up your class to do more than one thing. One thing that you will notice is the additions Wrath makes with changes which start to fill out areas where your class or spec may have been, well, lacking. Paladins and priests have practically no AoE damage, while they do now with Mindseer and Divine Storm. Only one...
Just wait for Wrath. Paladins are finally gonna pop off. This is where we truly pop off.
Yeah, Paladins will actually pop off in Wrath, though. That is actually where they blast. But it's been a long time coming for this day, right? Like they're actually like, I think they are disgusting in Wrath, right? Like they're ridiculous.
Warrior tanks have personal cooldowns, bears get berserk and survival instincts, top paladins get, well, essentially cheat death on a tanking class.
That's ridiculous.
Insane. Worrying about your mana bar as a DPS is a thing of the past, apart from Arcane Mage, because the whole gimmick of the spec is managing your mana. Unkins aren't going to be Unkins anymore, nor will Ellie Shamans have to worry about mana in longer fights. Perhaps they don't have to do that too much in TBC at the moment, but maybe that's just a fight length thing in general though. Tank threat
early mana is an issue if you don't have a Shadow Priest, I feel like. Like, right now in TBC. If you don't have a Shadow Priest, you're kind of cocked as an LA, right? Like, you basically can't chain lightning.
Has also been made much better through a number of changes.
Vigilante.
Every tank has strong single target.
I remember Vigilante. And Shockwave, oh my gosh. I used to play, like, prot PvP a little bit with, like, Armor Pen, and it was really fun.
AoE capabilities.
Thank you,
and
Plastic.
as a DPS, pulling threat in Wrath becomes quite a bit more difficult actually. This happens as tanks now have many more cooldowns to go through and ways to create high threat at the start of a fight. Oh, and we have tricks of the trade, that's the thing. Misdirection gets lowered to a 30-second cooldown, on top of the majority of classes opening a fight with applying some kind of debuff or some buff to themselves. We've all had that start of a fight. The tank runs in and you hear them say, I'm getting a lot of parry.
No, I know, listen, sorry guys, I know a lot of people talk crap about the tanking in PvP, but bruh, if you've played a warrior in ICC patch with full PvE armor penetration gear and Deathbringer's Will, going prot spec and shield slamming people for 12k, that is so much fun. Like, you run up to someone, you just do like a 15k shield slam, and it's like, what the hell just happened? You know, you don't go like tank gear, you go full PvE armor pen, and you just like shield slam people for all their health. It's so fun. Oh my god, I really enjoyed that.
And getting a lot of dodges, and you personally have a good opener and you have to hold back, and it's just not very fun. This should happen a lot less. Another small change in raids has been made to potions. Now, when I first played Classic again, and this also goes for TBC, I totally forgot that potions are just on a flat 2-minute cooldown. Use them whenever you want. This is updated in Wrath so that potion cooldowns will only begin after combat ends. This will be the turning point where people start to talk about pre-potting. This is...
What? Oh, wait, so if you want to min-max DPS, you pot a potion right before the pull, like you do in retail. Yeah, like you do... Oh. Is that in retail right now? You used to do that in retail, right? That's not anymore in retail? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, you used to pre-pot potions. Okay. I'm not a big... It's a little bit cheesy, right? Like, I feel like just 2-minute cooldown is like, I don't know, yeah.
Using a potion just a second or so before the boss fight starts, so you're benefiting from the potion as soon as you're entering combat, but you've also begun its cooldown because you went in combat when
it's 1 minute cooldown, okay.
Meaning 2 minutes later, you get another potion.
Rogues can vanish out of combat and reset the CD on pods. Interesting, okay.
I can tell you right now that once we're in Wrath and you start to get to that boss you have problems with, which there will be for the majority of the players, the GM will be looking through your logs, seeing only one potion and calling you out if you aren't pre-potting, I can guarantee it. Finally, do you remember the Burning Crusade launch when they added the Neverstalk amount? And a lot of people weren't very happy to see that. I wonder what kind of animal from Northrend they're going to include to sell with the boost this time around. You've got to pick...
What do you guys think? What mount do we think? If I were to give a guess... They're going to do some sort of a Proto-Drake or something like that, right? If they do a mount, they're probably going to do like some sort of a Proto-Drake. Right? Like, that's what I'm thinking, because Proto-Dragons are so huge. Or maybe like a... No, knowing Blizzard, they're doing like some sort of a cool thing that everybody wants. A Frostworm. You think they're doing a Frostworm and Nerubian? That would make sense if they did a Nerubian, because there is no Nerubian mounts in Wrath, right? So if they did like some Anub Rakan mount or something, everybody would be so pissed. You know, everybody would be flamed, like so annoyed, man. Yeah, probably a Nerubian. That's actually a really, really good guess.
Something that fits
too many things going on.
Classic and retail, of course. But it was in Wrath that the first ever store mount was added to the game. Well, I guess there was already the TCG mounts, the recruiter friend things, but this was the first one to be straight.
I just think, man, like personally, This is how I see it. In terms of like retail mounts and stuff, like I don't really care that much if there's like those like mounts you can buy, but like for me, I just don't really see a reason to want them. Because it's like there's no real prestige in having those mount, I feel like, right? Like if you have the mount, it's like, okay, well you just bought it. Like, okay, you have $25. That's cool, right? But if it's a mount in game you can farm, it's like, okay, this guy did the you know, the invincible challenge, or like he did like whatever challenge for or like Mythic Plus challenge, or he's a gladiator, right? Like that's cool because you can see that, oh, this guy's a gladiator, you know, that's sick. Or whatever, right? So I feel like in-game progression for mounts or like for titles is more cool. Yeah. Okay, I had the hiccups, guys. I'm sorry. Whew. Sorry about that.
From the source, and it releases right around the end of Wrath the Lich King, the Celestial Steed. And boy oh boy, back in 2010,
Lord
you better
Lilio.
believe people were mad about this, just as they are to this day when store mounts are announced. Only $25 you can get your special sparkle pony to ride or fly your way around Northrend. Now honestly, I don't see them trying to charge you for the same mount again. Surely not, right? I do think, however, there is a chance that they just straight up give people the mount in Classic who own it in retail. Kind of makes sense, right? You paid for it once, it's Wrath of the Lich King again, here's your mount back. You never know, they've surprised us.
They're gonna. I actually really like a Nerubian mount could probably be pretty plausible for this stuff, right?
With things like this. And that is about everything that I wanted to cover today. So hopefully you found out about something
that was an interesting video.
Again, there are so many changes that
there's actually a lot of things
from TBC to Wrath, way more than we've seen with either version of the game previously. Let me know if you've got any others that stand out to you, and maybe I can do another one of these in the future if people like it. As always, thank you all so much for watching and listening in, and I'll see you all in the next one very soon.
Thank you, Willie. Alright, I'll link the video in the chat as per usual, guys. Make sure you go support Willie. Give his video a little like, leave a comment, stuff like that. Sub to him. It's actually interesting because there's lots of these things that like I don't really remember that well, right? So because it is very like long time ago that all these things happen, right? So it's like that's interesting though. Like I've completely forgot about that enchant thing. Like that's something my brain just had completely like forgotten about. So that's interesting at least, right? I personally don't care about much about how rare a mount is. All that matters is that if I like how it looks or not. I can see that. Personally for me though, it's just like I really like that there's something tangible to the mount that I have, right? Like it's like, okay, I got this mount because of this, or like I got this title because of that. Right, I think that's cool, right? The same thing like if you get a title or if you get some sort of an item, right? You want to have something that looks cool. But like it's how that is, right? I got this mount because I got money. Yeah, it's just because like if I see someone they're riding a mount, it's like, oh yeah, the mount looks really sick and it looks awesome. But it like you can just go into the store and purchase it. It's like I'm not gonna really want to ride that, right? I wanna have a mount that's like special. That's like, okay, I'm unique, right? Like I'm a special snowflake. I like that. Like if you have the Raven Lord in Classic, right? If you have a Raven Lord or Ashes or Amani Warbear, stuff like that is cool because like, you know, okay, shit, dog, he tapped the event, right? He got lucky.